Guys, I have sold some stocks, keeping you updated because we talked about quantum computing on my channel quite a lot. And I want to be transparent with you guys and tell you exactly what I'm doing. It's not in my favor to tell you that I'm dumping some of these stocks, of course, but please like and subscribe because we're always trying to be transparent with you guys and give you the real alpha as soon as we can. So I've sold some quantum. So as you guys know, I took some profits from altcoins in January 2025. I moved them into stocks as crypto was in extreme greed and some stocks were in extreme fear. So crypto was like this. Everyone was going higher, higher, higher. We're going to the moon. So many things were hitting all-time highs. Solana was at all-time highs. Sui was at all-time high. We sold and took some profits, and crypto absolutely tanked, right, and absolutely crashed. I think most things are down from that January sell. I think most things are down 50%, 60%. Some things are even down 90%. It's crazy. So at the time here, when crypto was topping, a lot of stocks that I wanted to buy were actually down and in extreme fear. So we were in extreme greed up here on crypto, and then we were in extreme fear over here in stocks. So it was a really nice transition. You'll see I do this quite a lot, or I try to do this quite a lot. Same right now. I've just taken some profits from stocks, and then I've moved that into another play, right? So I do this quite a lot. Have I sold all of my stocks? Absolutely not. So I've only taken out my initials, and that's from the quantum computing stocks. It's a long-term hold for me, so I really do believe in this sector. I've done a lot of studying into quantum computing. I believe I really understand it. To me, it's like the whole NVIDIA move, the GPUs. We're basically getting quantum CPUs, which are going to be called QCPUs. And I've looked and done some research into about 20 different small startup companies, and the startup companies are the ones who are trying to do things differently from the established, but the established will steal the ideas and concepts from the startup companies. And some of the startup companies are solving some huge problems in quantum, especially the fault issue. And if they crack that, we might actually get quantum CPUs that are chips that don't have to be stored in these super cold environments. There's a lot of companies who are now working on quantum computing chips. And I think, it's always, it's 5 years away, 10 years away, 20 years away. I think it's going to accelerate way faster than we get told. Look at BlackRock. They're just about to launch their quantum computing ETF. I think we are going to have quantum computing chips that don't need to be in these freezing cold temperatures, that are not super sensitive to vibrations and sound, that work fast, that work efficiently, that don't have all of these, ridiculous error rates. I think it's going to excel, and I want to be on that boat, right? I don't want to sell all my quantum here, and then I find out next year it's gone up 10x, 50x, 100x, because we're still so far away from NVIDIA's market cap, right? I think we're still like a 300x away from NVIDIA's market cap, which is absolutely insane to even think about. Even a 10x would still be like, you're a 290x away. So yeah, it's still looking good for quantum. Is it going to explode overnight? I don't think so, guys. I don't think this is going to explode overnight. But I've taken out my initials now, as I got in quite early. Well, we got in quite early with my community. I posted in my Discord. This was a swing trade, so I got in January, but then I'd done another swing trade in the pullback. So I don't do this very often, but it pumped quite fast, and then it looked like it's going to have a pullback. So I actually took some profits and then bought more and went back in with even more, which turned out to be really well because I got this as an old post, so it was $20 at the time. So you can see I'd made $23,000 profit. Total net value was $34,000. I think it went up much more. You can see in my portfolio here. So yeah, it went up much more. It went to $110,000 in profit, and I invested $35,000. You can see there. See, we got in January, and then it just went crazy. So things don't also move up like this forever. They have corrections, right? So when you get into like euphoria and you get into extreme greed, if it's moved up a lot, I mean, in stocks, almost 5x is a lot, right? So I'm taking out my initials. It has pulled back a little bit. I'm taking out my initials, and it's now a free lottery ticket, okay? So I can't lose. I've got all of this money in quantum. It's quite a decent amount of money for me personally, right? Because, you know, if I've got more than 10k in D-Wave, but let's say I had 10k in D-Wave and it does a 10x, considering it's a 300x away from Nvidia, and it does a 10x, that's 100k, right? That's a 100k bag. And, you know, if it does 100x, it's $1 million. Okay, so 10k to $1 million. Nice risk reward. Can I lose? No, absolutely not. It's completely free money now. I can't lose anything at all. Can I make a 10x? I would be very surprised if I didn't make a 10x over the next 5 years. Can I make a 100x? Yes, it's definitely possible I can make a 100x because we're 300x away from Nvidia, right? And I think that these are going to be very linked with Nvidia. We've just seen the Nvidia partnership with Quantum, right? So I think we're going to see the Nvidia and Quantum integration grow over the next 5 years. And Nvidia just pushed a 5 trillion market cap, right? Some of these things are 10 billion, 20 billion. So yes, I do think it's going to be a while before we see earnings. I do think it's going to be a while before we see revenue. To me, waiting for good earnings is just an easy trade. Like, I don't even feel like an investor if I just go and buy something that's the earnings are going up every month, right? Every month. The stock price has been doing this. And I don't really feel like a good investor coming in and just saying, oh, earnings are going up every month, this should continue, I'm going to go and buy here because I expect the earnings to go up, right? It's almost too easy, and you don't get that return from the people who take a risk down here when maybe there was no earnings, right? There was no earnings, but the people down here, you know, ended up making 100x. And then the buyers who had the easy ride when the earnings were good ended up making a 2x or a 3x, right? I'm more of a risk taker, but when I am taking risks, I also de-risk, right? So I get in early if I can, especially into disruptive technologies like robotics, quantum, etc. I get in early where I can, and then if I see this, I count my blessings, I take out my initial investment, and then I go and look for other opportunities, right? So I took out my initials from quantum and I put them into another play. So another way to look at it is like, let's say quantum goes sideways now or has a cool down for 6 months. Okay, so let's say it chills out for a 6-month period. And then what I did is, let's say I put some more money into something that was down. So let's say I put my initial from quantum into something that was down and it looked like a better opportunity. And then let's say that does a 4x. So my 10k initial that I took out of D-Wave or Rigetti or IonQ is now 40k, right? So instead of watching my portfolio trend down, I'm now in another asset that's now gone up 4x. And it's now 40k, right? So my 40k here, what do? Take out my initial 10k, bang. This is called the flip game. So I take out my initial 10k. That has a correction. I look for the next play. Maybe I want to short Bitcoin, right? I'm shorting Bitcoin right now. I think that's about 300 or 400% in profits. It might even be more. It might be more now. So yeah, it was 200. Oh, this is my SUI short. I'm shorting SUI. It's 253%. Yeah, my Bitcoin short is 426% in profit. So 26,000. So yeah, maybe I want to flip it into a short. Maybe I take profit on that short, and then maybe I go and buy back the D-Wave or quantum computing crash, whatever. So this is called the flip game, and you'll find that in investing in stocks in crypto, a lot of the time you can get euphoria and hype. And let's say you're in early. Let's say you put 10k in down here or 1k. Doesn't matter what you're trading with, guys. It's all the same statistics, right? Let's say you put 10k in down here. Sometimes they can do this. And you watched your bag go up to 40k. You didn't take anything out. And then you watch it come back down to 10k. And you don't have this as free money now. It's still the same initial money that you put in. Whereas I took the 10k out up here. So I took my initial out. So it's free money. And then I invested into something else. And now I have 2 assets, right? You could technically do this 10 times. If you're a good investor and you're doing your fundamental analysis, you're doing your technical analysis, you could put 10k into a stock. It doubles. You take out your initial 10k. So it's now, it's 20k. You take out your initial investment, you go into the next stock, you put 10k into that, you wait 3 months, 6 months, it doubles in price, it's now 20k, you put your 10k into the next company. So you could do this 10 times and you could have 10 companies with 10K in, all from your initial 10K, right? 10 investments, all from your first 10K is basically called the flip strategy. And all of it, apart from your last 10K, is free money, right? Because it all started from the first 10K. So now you've got this 100K portfolio, because you've done this 10 times. You've got this 100K portfolio, and all of it's free money. Okay, you didn't take out any. You didn't hold and hodl. You just took out your initial and you let it run and you let it run. And that 100K portfolio of all free money, if it 10x's over the next 5 years, because stocks are doing very well, we're expecting a lot of money to come into stocks over the next 5-10 years, especially with decentralization and Web3. A lot of people from countries that have not been able to invest in stocks are now going to be able to buy stocks. So there could potentially be trillions of new money coming in over the next 5 years via Web3. So that 100K could 10x to 1 million, right? Maybe 100x's to 10 million. But it's all free money. It's a free lottery ticket. You now can't lose any money. So some people to say to me, I thought you believed in quantum. I thought you were bullish on quantum. They'll start laughing when I'm taking profits. But I hope you guys understand that me taking out, I think I took out 30, 40, 50,000, whatever from my quantum bag. That's a large amount of money, right? Let's say I've got 40K to play with there. If I 10x that, guys, it's 400K. And I can put that 40K into what? I can put it into 4 companies. I can put it into 6 companies. I diversify. So let's say quantum doesn't make it, because there's always a chance that it doesn't make it with any investment. I now have that 40K. I went and put it into 4 different companies. So let's say I put it into AI. I put it into robotics. I put it into infrastructure. Maybe I put it into pharmaceutical industry. I've now spread my bets. I've now diversified into multiple different assets. All from free money, right? All from profits that were taken from the D-Wave investment. So this is what I plan to do over the next 5 years. I'm only buying companies that I think are going to do well over the next 5 years. Okay, I'm not trying to make money overnight. We done very well to get quantum so early and to kind of suss out the market, right? I could see that the Nvidia. I literally posted this at the time. I said that NVIDIA investors are going to understand quantum. They're going to understand. They've literally just invested in hardware. Okay, so I went into all the hardware quantum companies. There's a lot of companies out there who are claiming to do things, guys. So if you're going to ape into some of these things, do your own research. I saw some people talking about QUBT, which I'd done some research, and I'm going to do a whole video on that, because I think it would be a good learning. A good educational course, video for you guys, because there's so many reasons why I've seen that company many a time do the same thing, especially in the crypto market, and it's really underperformed against the rest of the hardware companies. So we'll do another video on that. But we got into quantum early, we made some decent money, and now I'm going to put that into other things that I think can do well over 5 years. And the plan is to let this grow, because people message me in my community, in my Discord, saying, what are you doing with quantum? Are you taking more profits here? Especially when it goes down. Like if you're new to investing, it's really hard to watch your bags or portfolio go down, because you're like, oh, I wish I'd have sold more. Well, that's hindsight, guys. It's almost impossible to predict what's going to happen. Look at Nvidia. Many people sold at a 2x or a 3x, and it just went up and done a 20x, right? 2,000%. It's very difficult to time the market, and there's a famous saying that's time in the market over time in the market, right? So by me DCAing out my initials, it's not really time in the market. It's just kind of it's reducing risk, and it's spreading my portfolio. It's increasing my diversification, right? So I'm just buying things that I think can do well over 5 years, and if they start to really rally, I take out my initial investment, and then I look to diversify, and then hopefully over the next, we only started this in January. I think we're up on average somewhere around 300 to 400% on average, I believe. Maybe lower, I can't remember, but it's roughly around there. We started in January. My aim is to 10x this, but I think we're going to really exceed that, because we've already done this, right? So if we've done this in less than a year, I think we're going to really exceed 10x. I don't want to be moon boy. I'm always going to keep it conservative. The target is 10x. But yeah, the way things are going, the way tech's going, the Nvidia partnership with Quantum, the interest in Quantum now, the BlackRock ETF that's coming, the Google progression with their recent research. I think it could even 100x from where we got in. Not from today's price, right? From where we got in, because we got in quite early. So yeah, I'm looking for things that can do well over the 5 years, and then I'm just going to take out my initials on anything that starts to really rally and diversify, and then look to buy the next thing that's dipping, right? I'm only trying to buy red days and red weeks. I do see a lot of stocks investors who DCA every week, and I don't really agree with that, because stocks kind of, they do this over time, right? Yes, they do go up over time, good stocks, most good stocks, but they're still very, very volatile, and I don't really want to sit in these drawdowns when I can take out my initial investment and then buy another stock, take out my initial investment and buy another stock, take out my initial investment and buy another stock, right? And diversify on something that's here, What I find a lot of stocks channels do is they just DCA weekly, or they DCA monthly, or they just add some stocks when some good news comes out in the market. They'll go, I'm going to add some stocks here because, I don't know, Donald Trump might win the presidency, or so-and-so might do this. But look how quickly Donald Trump crashed the stock market when we bought that tariff crash, right? That was a great opportunity to buy. I think Nvidia doubled in price. Most companies doubled in price from that tariff crash in that V-shaped recovery. But those things can always happen, even if Donald Trump does win. So I think we are going to perform very well, because our strategy is to only buy the red weeks, which takes max discipline, because you have to sit and watch the news about AMD, the news about the IPO from OpenAI, right? The froth, the FOMO. But I feel like that's something that we've got quite good at on this channel and in our community, and it's one of the reasons why we've pushed up to, I think we're in the top 40 now on Patreon in the world out of 300,000, and it's because of the discipline, the strategy, and just being patient, right? And just being patient and not getting sucked into the FOMO and the hype. I talked about, if you watched my video, I talked about Circle. I've never seen so much hype for a stock. I don't think ever I've seen so much hype. Everyone was talking about Circle. Everyone was shilling Circle. I think I posted it on my... I should have posted it on my profile recently. Everyone was shilling Circle. And yeah, here we go. Look, I hope this helped. You can see my video. I posted this video, don't buy Circle stock until you watch this. Look at the price of Circle stock. It was $240 at the time. Just up only, like euphoria. And I basically posted saying, I think they're doing similar to what we've been doing in crypto for a long time. And, just creating this really bullish event that sucks in loads of retail, right? It creates FOMO. People feel like they're going to miss out. And there's a rule that I've stuck by, and it's early or skip. Am I early to this? No, right? Then I'm going to wait for a correction, and I'll skip. If you got in down here, congratulations, and obviously no brainer taking profits. I think I did post that Cathie Wood was taking profits. I congratulated her. That's how you play the game. You get in early, you take some profits off the table, and then now look at it, right? Absolutely massacred to the downside. And this is, I'm not ready to buy this yet because I still think the stock market's going to have a correction. But if I am going to buy Circle, this is what I look for, right? If I'm going to buy any stock, this is what I look for: 50, 60, 70% correction. I'll be at support, and then I'll go and do some more fundamental analysis. A lot of things have changed about Circle now, and yeah, we're going to get into it. I'll let you know if I buy this, guys. But I'm still waiting for the stock market to give the go signal. But yeah, just a reminder. The same thing happened on Coinbase, right? When we got Coinbase, it IPO'd. It looked something like this on the IPO, and I just said, guys, it's probably going to come down 90%. I'm going to wait, or I'm going to skip. I don't need Coinbase. Like you have to remember, you don't need Nvidia, you don't need AMD. You want these things, and I just let the market come to me. And yeah, I did want to get Coinbase, but it pumped so much, and then I waited, and I think we got it quite close to the bottom, and then it done a 10x right in the bull run. But those people who bought Coinbase on the IPO never made any money. They never made any money because I don't think it hit all-time high. So if they got the IPO after 3 years of waiting, might even be 4 years, after so many years of waiting, they ended up either breaking even or just short of breaking even, right? Yeah, here's my buy alert for Coinbase. Look, 2023, January 2023, just bought Coinbase, 43.50. I think the bottom was 35 or 36 or something. Small DCA, 10x from its all-time high, right? So that's what I kind of look for. Can this do a 10x? Yes. Okay, well, I'm in. Just settled with the SEC for 100 million, so it was good to see that they were paying their fines, which means everything's going to be good. Just pay the SEC what they want. Many competitors going into liquidation, so FTX went down, and then eventually Binance CZ ended up getting arrested. Only publicly listed exchange, audited by a top 3 auditor, scrapping USDT. Binance, number 1 competitor, under fire from the government. And then CZ ended up actually getting arrested after this. So that was a pretty good call. Cathie Wood from ARK Invest has been buying millions much higher than our current price. So we were even getting in, I say, cheaper in inverted brackets than the smart money. Just fired 1,000 employees, which is, firing sounds bearish, but it's actually bullish for companies. It's kind of cutting out the waste and fat. We may see more downside yet, so done a small DCA, and of course, when you're in a downtrend, you don't want to ape the entire bag in case the price goes lower, so I tend to dollar cost average in. So yeah, look, we waited, we were patient, and then it massively paid off, right? We waited for the IPO hype to die down, and it massively paid off, and I think we might be there on Circle. The problem is they're launching their own blockchain now. It adds massive risk. Is it going to be quantum resistant? I'd be quite interested to see if it's quantum resistant, because that might be an angle that I'm interested in if they are building their own blockchain because they're worried about quantum resistance and the quantum threat. And if they become quantum resistant, that would be huge, because there's even going to be potential issues in the banking system with quantum. And if we have a quantum resistant blockchain that's running USDC, they might even take a lot of market share. So I'm going to be watching it closely. I'm going to be looking at the latest updates, reading all the white papers, and staying on top of the Circle play. I'm not buying right now, but when the time's right, I think I will definitely hedge and put some free money in there, right? Because I'm taking profits from some of the other stocks that have rallied and diversifying. So what do you think, guys? Are you bullish on quantum? Are you bearish on quantum? What do you think is going to happen? If you want to see my buy and sell alerts, all my stocks, all my cryptos, trades that I'm taking, you can jump in with us. Look, the guys have been absolutely printing here. Big up Alt Assassin X, 83% on Zcash, 204% on BTC. So he got in with me. This is roughly where I entered my short position on BTC. Absolutely killing it. Sassy, the Sasquatch, 323% on BTC short. You got in just after us, so we got in at 110. So I guess you saw the signal as well. Congratulations. Gino, 53%. Look, if you want to jump involved with us, guys, you want to see my buy and sell alerts, you want to see all the trades we're taking, head over to my X. So head over to Twitter, type this one in, not the top one, and then click this link here, and that's going to show you the Discord, where you can join in with us and get involved and see all of our buy and sell alerts. We also have a professional leverage trader that I pay monthly. Very, very good trader. And this is we hired him in January, and this is his record. So he's got 100% win rate on his leverage trades. He mainly trades Bitcoin, and he posts in the Discord over down here in this section here. See professional leverage trader. He posts his setup ideas, what he thinks is going to happen, his trade logs, little video updates, and he's got 100% success rate. Now think how hard it's been to trade in this market. I've made loads of losses, right? I'm massively up since January leverage trading, but I've still made a lot of losses, especially with the scam wicks that we've had, right? The long flush. But he always trades with stop losses, take profits. He's a very disciplined trader. And this is what happens with disciplined traders. They have very high win rates because they stick to the discipline. Which is why I hired him. I don't think I'm the best leverage trader. I'm definitely getting better. Most leverage traders lose. So to be in massive profits this cycle on leverage trading, I've already won, right? But I'm not the best leverage trader. We trade very differently. I try to do big long swings. You can see my BTC short and my SUI short. I've been sitting in some of these for some time now, and I might even hold them open longer, right? I try to do big swings. That's kind of where I make most of my money. I try to go for the 10x, 20x, and it makes up for a lot of the losses a lot of the time. Also short in XRP here, 209%. It often makes up for a lot of the losses. Some of my swing trades, I think my biggest swing trade here was, you can see I long BTC at 69k, and I said TP 100k. A bit of an idiot move. Like, most people would not long 69k and hold it to 100k. I think I closed it in the 90s somewhere. I melted because I'd made like $250,000 in a very short amount of time. But yeah, this kind of made up for all of the little stop losses, all the little liquidations, because I just cleared 250k, and there's nowhere, I lost nowhere near that, right? So that's kind of how I trade. But it's nice to have two different traders. He's more of like a technical day trader and takes little snipes here and there, but his record speaks for itself, right? He's won every month in a market where most traders are losing. So yeah, if you want to see his calls, jump in the Discord. It's a monthly fee, guys, so you're not signed up for a lifetime, or you're not trapped into a year. If it's not for you, if you're not finding value, I wouldn't want you to be there anyway. So if you want to try it out for a month, I think it's like $40 or $35 for the lowest tier. Jump in. If it's not for you, you can leave at any time, right? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video so you don't miss out on any of our notifications, to stay up to date with all the latest. Don't forget, none of the information in this video is financial advice. Do your own research. Investing in crypto, investing in anything is highly risky, and you can lose all of your money investing in anything. So I'm not a financial advisor, so make sure you're doing your research. That's it for now, guys. Until then, I'll catch you in the next one.